So this is the Pyzalien 2, which is obviously based off the Pyzalien, which is, the Pyzalien's always been one of my very favorite boards, and it's one of those designs that almost every single person that rides it really likes it. It has a really good rocker, and it feels like it works in all kinds of conditions. So the Pyzalien 2 is just like our latest version of that. I made a few small changes compared to the Pyzalien, the biggest one being a refinement through the rail. The original Pyzalien had a really full, chunky rail, and you'd actually order it a little bit thinner than your normal shortboard. This board has a more curve through the deck, so it has a more refined rail, and you want to get it basically about the same thickness as your normal boards instead. So it's a little less confusing order-wise. That was something people often got mixed up with. Beyond that, we've kept pretty much everything the same. It has a pretty wide nose, but not super wide by today's standards. This board, original design's over 10 years old, and it's still like hanging tough. The outline itself has it's just a smooth, clean outline, no hips in it or anything. And generally speaking, my favorite tail, and the tail I like to put on it, is a swallowtail. It gives it a nice little bite to it, and kind of feels like it adds to like this snappiness, nice push. And you can really, the swallowtail actually lets you ride it in a little bit bigger surf, and it still holds in really well off the bottom. If this was a squash tail in bigger surf, because of the width of the tail, you would tend to kind of have to nurse it a little bit. With a swallowtail, it really widens the range that you can ride it from anywhere from like waist high to, I ride it when it's double overhead even sometimes. The board itself is really drivey. It has a little bit of extra flotation and thickness up here, but you don't feel that when you ride it a little shorter. It's super drivey, but at the same time, it just has this nice snappiness but smooth snappiness with no hip in there. It just like wants to come around nice smooth turns and real easy vertical surfing when you ride it short enough. You don't want to ride it much longer than yourself. It has, the bottom is a really smooth, even rocker, but it has a nice little the entry is really fast, but it still has enough curve through the nose. It's not like a flat rockered board. It has a lot of single concave through here and busting into a little bit of double concave there, and some V running off the tail, which I always like for high speed turning. When you have that V, it lets you control your speed through a turn without losing control or without like popping the tail out of the water. It actually kind of releases pressure and lets you really push hard through turns. This board just basically, I would say, it's been such a favorite from everyone that I make it for, and like all my friends ride it. A lot of my team riders ride it. I always go back to it and love it, and I think people are going to be really stoked the new Pyzalien 2, because it's something you'll pick up and it won't feel overly clunky like the Pyzalien did. It was a little bit scary for people because it felt too chunky. This one's a little bit more refined feeling, and I think everyone's going to love it. It just works good in almost every condition, and it's just a great board.